I forgot to put my face up. Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. How you doing tonight? It's another midnight stream because of my work schedule, which will be like this until at least February 20th, and then if they renew it, it'll be another 8 weeks of this schedule. That's the way it works. They do it in 8 week spurts. I can only imagine that it's going to be renewed because they want this airport, this terminal open in June, and that ain't going to happen if people only work in one shift. They got 3 shifts going around. Just build. You go to work one day and things are all missing because there's been 2 other shifts just touching stuff and moving stuff and taking tools and putting them elsewhere. You spend like a good quarter of the day looking for stuff that you put just over there yesterday. But that's besides the point. So how you doing? This is a strange stream. This is going to be a character creation challenge. And I hope somebody joins me because I can't stand looking at my big old face on the screen. I'm going to filibuster a bit before we start. And I'll explain the rules in a little bit. First off, if anybody would like to join, here is the link. Have your camera on. I like to talk to faces, not cartoon characters. If you're afraid to show your face, stay off YouTube. So first and foremost, Heroic Tales 2 is still available on this site for the time being. I'm working on the permanent store. Why a permanent store? And why fund my comic? Well, first off, I like Luke Stone, the owner of the company. He's a great guy. Second off, it's only like a 2% fee. And they don't charge you every month. So just keep a permanent store. Why spend $30 a month on other websites when I'm not selling $30 a month, let's be honest. So if I sell $10 one month, they make 2% of that, so 20 cents. That's what it'll cost me to have a store active for a month. And there you go. So I'm going to have an active campaign. When that campaign closes down, I'll move everything to the store. And that's where it'll be. So this store will just get more and more complicated. And then hopefully in someday in the future, I will need my own, what's it called? Spotify site. I don't even know what it's called. This is an open invite. You can click this link. I'll start right now. And you could pop in and we could talk about stuff. Hey, Zactan. Seems like doesn't matter what time of day I stream. Zactan is there with the blessing. Oh, thank good. We could all use a blessing these days. Hey, Emily. How you doing? Good to see you, Emily. How's everything? Colonel Zaid says, hey, Longbox, hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very, very well. Why am I doing so well? Because I'm challenging myself to try to have a comic done soup to nuts within this year. So I want to do, it's going to be, I think, 15 pages. So I'm going to do a short 15-page solo King Fu comic Christmas, Blue Christmas. I already know the main criticism. It barely has anything to do with Christmas. It happens on Christmas. He goes to Vietnam to recover an MIA. And he wants to bring him home in time for Christmas. That's the Christmas tie-in. So, surprise, King Fu was a Marine before he got his superpowers. That's the tie-in there. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It's bringing our boys back kind of thing. So that's the premise of the comic, Blue Christmas. Why blue? Read the comic. So people have been asking for a King Fu story. I'm trying to give you a King Fu story. So it's going to be, in all my other comics have been 40 pages. This is going to be like 15, maybe 16 pages, with a little editorial. I want to kind of do like a diary of one of the survivors about what happened in 1963 in Operation Barrel Roll. So I'm having a couple of people read it to, I'm not a military guy and I don't want to pretend to be a military guy, nor do I want to claim to be a military guy. I find that detestable, people who aren't military. But so I'm asking other people who I know are military to just read it. Does it have any things that I need to change? You know what I mean? Granted, there's barely, it's a 2-person mission going off on like I said, to recover an MIA. I don't want to talk about it. I know me. I'll start spoiling it. So let's just go down so here is, if anybody wants to join me, Colonel Zaid. Luke is good people. Yeah, Luke is great. Luke is absolutely great. Luke is also drawing one of my stories right now, the sleeper agent. he's putting that back on high priority. When he said how, I think it was a miscommunication, because I was like, my priority right now is fulfilling my comic, and I think he meant like back off, but whatever. So we're back on that. Everybody saying hello, hoorah, hoorah. Thank you for streaming. You're welcome. Thank you for watching, Dirty Fatty. How you doing? Oh, and we got somebody here. Cool. All right, you saved me from staring at my gigantic face. Now I'm looking at a quarter-size face. That's better. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. This is Arkham. Arkham's also one of my artists. He's drawing a Greek mythological story, Mythman and Fable. There you go. I finally spoiled the title.
There you go. Somebody's working on something.
Oh, cool. Mythman and Fable. It's a husband and wife explorer team. They don't stumble upon it, because they stumble upon it means they're just walking down the street. But they kind of had an idea of where the Garden of the Hesperides was, and they investigated it, and they found it, and all hell breaks loose. Colonel Zaid says, I appreciate your praises of Becca Dricos. Oh, yes. The art in this comic is like, I described it as borderline supernatural, and I'm not joking. The art in this story is eerie in the best sense of the word. Like it's I can't believe a human being made this artwork. So good job.
Very atmospheric.
I'm sorry?
Very atmospheric.
Very atmospheric. Like I'm sure he uses techniques that would make sense to you, but me being a non-artist, it's almost like I bet you if I zoomed in on it, the detailing would become microscopic. I'm sure he makes it big and then draws, and then shrinks it there. But it's so good, to the point where sometimes I got creeped out by the kind of human-looking beings. They're aliens on an alien planet, but you know what I mean? Like Uncanny Valley was but it's so good art. I no joke. I think you're one of the best artists that I've seen in the good. Keep going. I bet you it took you so long to make that comic.
That's a pretty good high price.
Yeah, it's really good. You being an artist, check it out.
Definitely, it sounds like it's right up my alley and my kind of.
Zaid, send me a DM with all your links, and I'll put them in the chat for people to check out, because I know unless you're a moderator, you can't put links in the chat. It's really good, really good. Look forward to and you're making a video game. And he makes these resin knives. Arkham, you and him are like spiritual brothers. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Yeah, I you can tell the coffee's kicking in, because I
it's not a bad thing, John, when you're a host.
But I find that creative people, like when you're talented, it seems like people are talented in so many areas. Like sculpting and painting and drawing, and you know what I mean?
I think as most artists, we have some form of ADD. It's really hard to stick in one medium, especially because you see like me looking at Oscar's colors. I'm like, oh, I can do flats. I want to learn how he blends like that, and we'll start playing with it, and then eventually we'll start doing it.
Yeah.
Or we'll just drop it immediately and go find something else that's shiny and pretty to look at.
Oh, I tried to tag you in somebody else's art today. It just reminded me of your art. I got to go back and find it and show you. But I was Twitter at work, but for whatever reason, the signal at work is getting really, really bad. While we're filibustering for people to show it, I got this today in the mail. Look at this. Is
I saw the picture of that.
Yeah, this is new Villains Vigilante stuff. Well, new to me. It's probably a couple of years now. One or two of these I already have, but Scott Bizarre over at Fantasy. I emailed Scott Bizarre, the owner of Fantasy Games Unlimited. All of a sudden, my camera got fuzzy, and
because it focused on the books.
Oh yeah, focused on the books. So I just asked him. I said, we briefly discussed this, but is it okay if I do a Villains Vigilantes supplement? So kind of like a DC Who's Who or a Marvel Universe of my characters. Now, I don't want to do it right away, because in order to fill out a book, I would have to do a 60 pages or so like that, and then spoil a lot of stories. So down the road, I would like to do it, but I would like to know if I can do it, because now would be the time to start doing it. And he didn't say yes, he didn't say no. He said, what V&V stuff do you not have, John? I said, I haven't got anything. Like, they're all numbered like comics. So he just sent me all of the stuff that I'm missing. And then he said, send me your comic. So I mailed him my comic. He mailed me this. I definitely got the better end of the deal. But he never said I could do it or not. I guess he wants to check the comic. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that seems makes sense, right?
Right. You know what I mean? Like, what if it's all porn or if it's garbage or something? You know what I mean? Thank you, but I don't want to work with you. But look at all this. So I got a lot of V&V stuff to check out. What these are is, unfortunately, V&V doesn't sell like it used to. So it's 4 modules in one. So this is a whole bunch of V&V prod. Like a few of these I have originally, like when they came out as you know, just individual modules, but now this is a bunch of modules all stuck together. So pretty cool. I love this stuff. Somebody that I've been talking to since I had my forum up for 20 years said, I got your comic. Let me know when you run my module. And I felt bad because I don't run anybody else's modules. You know, like I just collect V&V stuff. I like the ideas, but I only run my own stories. So I didn't want to say, I'm never going to run your module. Then he's like, I'm never going to buy your comic book. So anyway, I've been talking a lot. How you doing, Arkham?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Getting some stuff done on the real life scenarios. Got some unfortunately shit news, but I could live with it on the real life scenarios. Been trying to slow down my art, if that makes sense.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm spending a lot more time, instead of trying to get my image out, spending a lot more time in redefining it. Before I was just like, if I do this, if I keep redefining it, I'm going to take forever. And I'm like, you know what? Even if you take a little bit extra time, keep going at it until you're happy with it.
You know, when I started my channel, it was just me whispering into my phone, shaking it over a comic book, talking about, like, I was like 10-minute video. And I was always aware, it's like, it's never going to be this. Sooner or later, it's going to change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you find, so I never thought I was going to be interviewing people or making my own comic books. So, you know what I mean? Just so keep doing it. And next thing you know, you're gonna find your groove. That's like
what I've found. Like if I get what you are familiar with writer's block. With artist block, it happens to us too. We hit a slump. So what I did is I just dropped what I was doing, went to a different medium, went to different things, started drawing those, and started playing with those, and it like helped unscrabble the fog of creativity and let it, you know, juxtapose where it was at, but it got the juices flowing to where I came back. I was like, hey, now I'm ready. Boom. Was able to get some good stuff done.
I got to ask, what is a Rolly Master Collection? It says it looks like my Rolly Master Collection. I don't know what that means.
Maybe for another RPG.
Oh, okay, maybe. I got to bring up Twitter so I could get his link, because it came up on my phone, but that doesn't help my computer. Where's Twitter? I hate having to roll out my thing and type when I'm on the phone. I mean, when I'm online. So anyway, as I kill everything, bringing the show to a halt. So somebody asked a question. Let me sign it to Twitter, and then I can. So last night you would Rollmaster. Okay. Are those the Viewmaster things? Because that's,
I think Rollmaster is an RPG.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Viewmaster. Remember Viewmaster?
Yes. Oh yeah, I love those Viewmasters.
So when you were talking about writer's block stuff, this is going to sound. I don't get writer's block, but what I do get is I have to be in a good mood.
That makes sense.
So like, the state of the world just pissed me off, and then I toned down my Twitter, I toned down my YouTube, and I toned down listening to the news. And now I'm in a great mood again. And man, I couldn't go to sleep till 5 o'clock in the morning until I was finished with the story last night. But I don't
all social media off my phone.
Right.
You know, I don't want any contact with it anymore. I don't want anything to do with it.
Like, writing is fun. It's comic books. It's supposed to be fun. So if I'm in a bad, I'm like, I don't want to, because then I'm going to write story and then put people reading it into a bad mood. Like if I want people to be sad, it's because it's a sad story, not because I'm pissed off. And boy, did I came up with a sad story today. It has nothing to do with superheroes. It's just a sad story. And I'm like, is this a comic book?
Yeah,
But
that's a
anyway,
good back pocket stories. And you're like, ooh, that hit something with me. I'm gonna put that in the back pockets when I'm ready to write something. There it is. I have it in that corner.
oh yeah, I was doing something. Oh man, I'm all over the place today.
How's my audio, by the way?
Your audio's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, there. Okay, we got.
You like this new camera system?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, I just use my cell phone now. So much better.
Oh yeah, what were you using before?
Webcams.
Because I gotta get a mic.
I use the Yeti mic. It's $100, brand new.
I bought a Yeti mic. I paid like $149 for it. I had it here. You can see a couple of videos where I had a mic over, and it just sounded like crap. And
it took me a while to play with it and really dial it in, watch a couple of videos, and I'm like, okay.
People were complaining about the audio, and I literally picked it up and smashed it on the ground. You know. So
nice.
Yeah, that's me. I could be a hothead sometime.
Oh yeah, we all can.
I just want to put his links. So, where are we? Okay, so this is Zaid Studios. If you want to check out his comic, you got to check out this guy makes like resin daggers, fantasy daggers, and stuff like that. And this is his YouTube channel. Where have you been, Zaid? I haven't seen you in a long time, Colonel Zaid. So anyway, somebody asked a question, and now that I got these links, so what kind of characters are we making? Comic characters, characters for gaming? Comic book characters. So here is the rule. I saw this on another channel, and I thought it was fun. And they were trying to stump each other to make funny characters. And I was watching it, and I was like, that's a great character. Like one of the characters from that channel, I am making a story about. You know, just where can I fit it in? I thought they were really, really cool characters. I gotta watch my video again because there was another one that I really like. So here are the rules. This is the rules that they made up on their channel, and I wish I could remember which channel it was. But there's three things: we need a name, we need a superpower, and we need a weakness. You guys are gonna come up with two of them, and then I'll come up with the third, and then or whatever. Make it I'm gonna try to make it a cool character. Because anybody could say Elephant Boy and he, teleport. You know what I mean? I don't want to make a goofy, like a character that like we're trying to make it a decent comic book at. So everybody understand the rules? Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to start, so come up with either a name, a power, or weakness. So pick two of the three. If you pick all three, then he's your character. You're done, and I ain't gonna touch it. You know what I mean? But so, okay, cool. So there we go. So Arkham and I will just talk nonsense until we start seeing people throw in names or whatever, qualifier. This is the first time I did it. This could be a bust because the other time I just EFAP'd somebody else, so. So anyway.
Sometimes it's just good to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Good comic book talk.
So Arkham is drawing a story for me. He did the 2 cards. I forget how many pages you've done already. Oscar has colored them all except for the Typhon page. And I just, as soon as you're done with that story, I could put it in Heroic Tales.
Nice.
Well, Heroic Tales 3, it has to be the Raven and the second story of Mary Sue. So Heroic Tales 4, so if, as soon as you're done, it's on the slot to go. And that's the way it is for all of the other guys who are not named Renzo. What is this? What if their sadness empathy makes them more powerful? What are we talking about? Is that what is this a character with sadness? As they get sadder, they get more powerful? Is that your entry, or are you responding to something that I don't understand?
Well, I mean, I think what he means is a power set was his empathy, but maybe the more sadness he picks up, maybe his empathic powers grow larger. So therefore, he has to be weary of being around too many sad people, or just expels. It actually permeates the sadness around everybody.
Okay. So
you can't be around depressed people, or it makes everyone else depressed.
All right, I've seen entries, and I'm trying not to look at the entries so that they don't pepper. Okay, so a character, well, he only has one power. I mean, that's fine too. If he just he has empathy, and the more depressed, the more sad he gets, the more powerful he gets. Oh my God, that right away, the first name that came to my mind would be Spiral. Like he's just spiraling. So it's a person. So his weakness is, and I don't know. I'm picturing a female. So her weakness is she can't control it. So she wants to be isolated out in the woods. You know what I mean? Away from people. But when she's near people, she can't help it. But her empathy picks up the emotional state of those around. And I guess the negativity makes her more powerful. And almost like a change, like almost like greedy, like Gollum. She seeks out more of it. And like she becomes like a villain, like a reverse Hulk kind of thing. So I the name that comes to mind is Spiral. You got a better name than that? Like she's just spiraling.
I think that works fine.
Yeah, so she's spiraling. And the sad thing is positive emotions do nothing. Otherwise, she would just like live amongst friends. You know what I mean? So she's like cursed by negativity. So there you go. How was that one, Colonel Zaid?
Yeah,
that was pretty dark. I could picture when she's normal, she's a good person, and she lives in fear of her mutation or whatever, and doesn't want to, and like somebody's hiking through the woods and they come across her and she's like she doesn't want to help, and people are like, what do you mean we need help? And she's like, here's food, you can stay the night, but you gotta leave, kind of thing. And then like, okay,
what if her sadness was almost like if it gets too much, it almost like leaks out, and that's why she seeks solitaire. She doesn't want it to affect anybody else around her and bring them down.
Yeah, almost like she reflects it back. Like
yeah.
She takes in your depression and then magnifies it and sends it to everybody else. Yeah, but only negative emotions. So she's like a tragic villain who doesn't want to be a villain, but is one. Meathead. He has berserker-like power to perform amazing illogical feats. Okay. I know this is a goofy one. I was kind of hoping we get serious ones, but this one I could picture. I don't know why, but I'm thinking. So you give us the name Meathead, and he's got berserker and illogical feats. So his weakness is he has to think that he could do it. In other words, if he knows that he can't do it, he can't do it.
I was thinking he could have the power like the Sentry probability manipulation or reality manipulation, but he's retarded. So all he knows is to punch things.
Right. He's kind of dumb. Yeah. He's kind of good.
Not like power in the body of I'm sorry. I don't want to say that word. Somebody that's mentally deficient.
Well, I was thinking like a big dummy. Like we all got that friend that means well, and he's kind of giant, and he'll give you the shirt off his back. And like you know how like the coyote will chase the roadrunner off a cliff, and right. All of a sudden he's like, then he looks down and sees that he shouldn't be in the air, and then he falls. Meathead could do stuff like that. Like as long as he doesn't know, like if somebody says to him, like you can't walk on water, I can't. He falls in the water. So yeah. I just picture him being a good-natured guy, like he just runs into a barrage of bullets, and people are like, what are you doing? And like nothing hurts him because he doesn't know that.
Has like the personality of Mongo from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. So there you go. What do you, Old Dirty Fatty? What do you think? What do you think of Meathead? He's just a big dummy, like somebody throws a grenade at him and he catches it and starts eating it because he doesn't know you can't eat grenades. And somebody's like, you can't eat grenades, really? And now he can't eat them. So he can do anything as long as he doesn't know he can't do it until he's told that he can't do it. So he's unfortunately, he's stupid. So he's not the most powerful being in the world, but Meathead, there you go. I kind of like that character. I kind of want to hang out with them. A series of characters, the Maidens, they're able to summon anything that was made in a specific. Oh, okay. So there's Made in Japan. There's Made in America. There's Made in. So it's a group of females.
Zach Tan, you got to give us permission to use that somewhere because that shit's too good. That's funny.
So Made in Japan, she could summon like tape recorders and whatever they
make. My sister, Made in Korea.
There's Made in America, and then there's Made in Mexico. There's a whole bunch of made-ins. I like that one. Their weakness is it has to be something made in their country. So Made in India is going to summon poop from the streets.
Or 8-foot catfish from the river.
Oh God, that's terrifying. There's 8-foot catfish like in the Ganges.
Oh yeah, because they feed on all the corpses from the cows to the dead folk.
My friend Bob, rivers. My friend Bob could do a whole YouTube channel just about his exploits. But one day he just got like depressed, and he was like, I'm not going to be depressed. So he just took a backpack and he literally he flew to Ireland, and then he backpacked across the country, the world, for the next 7 or 8 years. He lived in Crete, he lived in Greece, he went to like Turkey, he went to India, just basically walking, because it was like either that or suicide. You know what I mean? So, and then he came back like, hey, happy. He met this German woman who freaking her husband was this like billionaire, owned houses and castles, and then he dropped dead, and now she's married to Bob. So Bob is now like a billionaire, living in castles in southern Spain. I'm gonna go walking. He like walked the earth like Cain. But he was telling us he was like, I'm gonna go to the Ganges River and I'm gonna bathe myself in the holy Ganges River. And that was his quest. He like walked from Greece to India, and when he got there, he was like, I'm out of here. He said it was the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. So Zoomer, the amazing fast dog, that one, there's really nothing else to do. That's like a full concept in itself. Mm-hmm. But here's its weakness. He only gets super speed at 4:00 in the morning when the guy is trying to sleep. Or if you have had pets, you notice that right after he goes to the bathroom.
Right.
Right? My cats, man, it'll be 3:00 in the morning. They're playing pinball around the house because they just went to the bathroom. They get the zoomies.
Or maybe it's like dogs are very responsive to the pheromones as their owners let out. Maybe he only gets his zoomy powers when the owner gets tired and ready to bed, ready to relax.
Okay. Tony Gringo says, my character is called the Sentinel. He's immortal, and there are whispers that he has some sort of great series of mythology. His costume is a tattered shroud. Okay, so his name is the Sentinel. His power is he's immortal. So what would his weakness be? The Sentinel, he's immortal. I kind of like this character. I'm thinking, and the whispers, he's some of the that. Okay, so he may or may not be one of the a mythological hero. So I picture it like his weakness would be he has to keep the ancient rites of this god or goddess who bestowed upon him immortality alive, because it just say Apollo. So Apollo gifted him with immortality, and he's the Sentinel. So he has to keep some form of Apollo worship, some sort of ritual, like an exacting ritual. Because if this ritual breaks, he loses immortality. He's not going to drop dead, but then he begins to age. So he's slowly aging, even though he's potentially, because sometimes he slips up or he doesn't have the correct, he needs 40-year-old olive oil or something like that. So what do you think of that, Tony? This is fun. I kind of like this kind of stuff.
I was thinking that, or maybe a geographical weakness, like he can't leave Greece.
Oh, there's
Greece, even though he's almost godly powerful, he can be killed.
If he leaves Greece, he's vulnerable.
You're right. Even though he's still demigod level, but he can be killed off of Greece soil.
Like what's his name? Antaeus. He can't be killed while he's touching the earth. Mm-hmm. So Hercules lifted him up and strangled him. I love that kind of stuff. It's yours now. Sounds great. Buzz Lightyear. Why is Buzz Lightyear effed? Oh, made in Taiwan?
Yeah.
Okay. Truth got two. Okay. He's afraid of dying. Yeah, like I love that. That's one of my things about Wonder Man from the Avengers was he's the most powerful being on Earth, and he's terrified of death.
And his brother's name's the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, that's true. Malamute Child and Husky. Oh, he's
a beautiful dog.
Okay, I was like, Zayd is drinking or something. I keep okay, but he's responded to other people. Anybody else got anybody else in the chat got a name, a power, or a weakness? Give me two of those three.
We're getting some good stuff coming in.
Yeah, they are pretty good. I'll tell you one of them that but I forget what I forget how they did it, but I came up with the character called Holy Moly. And Holy Moly, and her name is going to be Molly Estelle. Estelle is the Sindarian name from Tolkien's books for hope. So her name is Molly Estelle, and what she is she's just good. She's just good. She was just born good, like naive, good, and like because of that, like vampires and monsters are they just flee before her. So she kind of doesn't believe in that stuff. So like I was picturing like she has a bunch of friends that are like amateur like ghost hunters. And she'll like, yeah, I'll go with them, and like guys will try to hit on her, and she's like, she's a goody two shoes, she wants to be a nun kind of thing. And then like she exorcises these demons from these houses, like everybody else is like, there's monsters, and they just flee before her because she's so good. I'm trying to work on a story with this character, but her name is Molly because Molly was the plant that Hermes gave to Odysseus. And he ground it up and he made ointment out of it, and it resisted the magic of Circe. So or was it the other one? I forget. Calypso. So in Greek mythology, Molly is a magical plant that protects you from magic. So she's just protected. But that's.
And in democratic cities, Molly is a magical something else.
Right. Ladder Man versus Idea Boy. Idea Boy has Dalpha Man. High Guy as sidekicks. I think Zayd is smoking Molly. There's a snake. Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I think he's going back and forth with people in chat. So we're getting only part of the conversation.
Third eye, a man who has the power of atmospheric memory. I don't know what atmospheric memory means. What does atmospheric memory mean? But okay, so he has third eye, and I need to know what atmospheric memory means before I could come up with anything else.
I think it might be where you can like see into other places, right?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Creative Welsh. Creative Welshman has we DM back and forth some cool ideas. I was thinking that Sentinel's weakness would be his powers would wax and wane based on his belief in himself. Okay, he can no longer call on his gods because his gods are no longer worshipped. Okay, so kind of like Gladiator. He has to have.
I was going to say Gladiator, Starbrand-ish.
Okay, that's pretty good. So the Sentinel. So like if he doubts, if he doubts himself, or does he doubt like the truthfulness of his mission, or is he like he meets like a villain that's I don't know if I could beat this guy, and it causes like a decline in his abilities.
That's a lot like Gladiator.
Atmospheric memory is seeing echoes of the past recorded in all perpetuality. Okay, so third eye basically has the power of like I would call it psychometry. You could see the past, you could read the past. So either in objects, people. So I
kind of the Sherlock Holmes movie when he describes stuff. You're doing that with your brain. You're dissecting things and going out across the whole room, and you can check out things.
So this is what I'm picturing. Again, I don't know why I'm picturing this of a woman, and I kind of picture like an Indian woman, and she's quirky and cute, and because like she hears things, you know what I mean? People like don't, and then all of a sudden like she'll get deathly serious. Like something literally like a wrinkle in her forehead will open up, and there's literally an eye, like you know how Doctor Strange's amulet goes into it, and then she talks like Trelawney from Harry Potter. Oh, like almost like she can't control herself. Like I don't picture her going out and fighting Doctor Doom, but you know, like we always think about that like superheroes that they're all got these combat powers when most of them would be like support, you know, logistics. Like that's one thing I like in Hellboy. There's a lot of people who have powers that don't go into the front line. Like, you know, Panya, the mummy woman, she just sits, she can't move, but like she could do precognition and give them clues. So that's what I picture Third Eye is. Like she'll either warn them of danger, you know, he's coming, he'll be here, you know, it's coming from the sea, you know, then the eye will close. And like either she remembers it or she doesn't remember it. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Creative Welshman? Where is your comment? There it is.
And John, while waiting to get back from him, did you see the preview for the new Steven Spielberg movie about like first contact with aliens?
No.
Oh, there's you know how you were talking about the third eye possessing her speaking through another voice?
Yeah.
In the preview, there's this news anchor who's like just in the news and something starts tapping into her. And then she starts, I would just go look it up. And just so that way you can see it for yourself and get your first response. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
I heard it and I was just like, ooh, that sounds nasty. I love it. Just on an audio cue. I'm like, this movie kind of got my attention.
Okay. The Steven Spielberg films usually something worth watching.
It should be good.
Weather Vane. He has the uncanny ability to read the weather and uses it mainly to sail and look for adventure. His weakness is vanity. Okay, well, you gave me all three. So, you know, you gave me a name, you gave me a power, and you gave me a weakness. You're supposed to give me 2 out of 3. You know, Weather Vane. Yeah, I picture within the name. He's arrogant. He's good looking, and he's a guy who owns a yacht, and he uses his yacht to pick up chicks. You know, and like, oh,
he's always going to know when the weather's perfect.
Right. Oh, we got blown off course. We have to stay here overnight. Wink.
We got to batten down them hatches.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I wonder what we're going to do. Oh, I only packed 1 sleeping bag. I didn't think we were going to stay out all night.
Tony asked who was Gladiator. Gladiator is, he was the captain of the Shi'ar Royal Guard. They said he was a Superman stand-in. I never saw him really. I thought him more of a joke making fun of Superman. But I always liked him. I generally don't like Superman knockoffs. I actually liked Gladiator.
Well,
he eventually actually became Emperor of the Shi'ar.
Right. Well, that's
now. I don't know because I don't read Marvel.
Right, I quit Marvel in 2015, but he I think he debuted in X-Men 104 or 105. It
was definitely an X-Men debut character.
Yeah, and it was a Dave Cockrum. It was that issue. I recently did it on Sunday Comics. They introduced like no joke, like 30 characters, like super important characters. But what you know, I always have to say there's homages and there's ripoffs. When homage is done with love and you know, I just love this character so much I want to homage it. And ripoff is like I'm lazy. I'm just gonna swipe something. You know,
yeah, I think Gladiator was definitely an homage, especially with his real name.
Dave Cockrum drew the Legion of Superheroes for years, and then he was on the X-Men. So he made the Shi'ar Imperial Guard is an homage to the Legion of Superheroes. So Gladiator was you know, Fang was Timberwolf, and you know, I think Oracle was Saturn Girl. I forget but
you know what's sad?
What?
The Shi'ar versus the Legion. I like the Shi'ar way more. I love them. I love all like
the Imperial
fighting with the X-Men during the Dark Phoenix saga. It's just like, oh, people are gonna die, and I actually like people on both sides.
Right. Well, they became their own thing. You know. Like they started out as an homage, like, oh, I want to draw the Legion one more time. Maybe I don't know. Marcus isn't here, but maybe Dave Cockrum got unceremoniously fired from the Legion. Who knows? And he just wanted to get it out of, or he just loved doing it. I don't know what the lore is, but it became its own thing. You know, a lot of like homages turn into their own thing. You're gonna see. I have a bunch of homage characters, and maybe I should be more tight-lipped about who they're homaging. but they, maybe they'll become their own thing. But atmospheric memory is a philosophy created by Charles Babbage, a real life philosopher and inventor. DM me this. I got to look this up. I know you messaged me before, but my brain is like a sieve. So if I'm not thinking about it, I won't remember. So DM me about this atmospheric. I want to check it out. This is the second time you told me about it.
John, I like to think of my memory as a steel trap. Unfortunately, right above the steel trap is Swiss cheese. So as long as it can hit the steel trap, it's in there for good. It's getting it in there is the problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm way behind. Yeah, The Arrival was a great. I really enjoyed the Arrival. So hero named Whiplash. Okay, so Whiplash. I mean, there is a villain in Iron Man. Whiplash. He has the whips. So I mean, I don't know. I couldn't come up with somebody named Whiplash who didn't have the whips. He would be too much like an existing character, unless he points to people and they get their necks hurt, which is, what I mean? That's the only other. Harp is a guy who with weather powers. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Harp. You think he's going to be an angel when Harp is coming, and then all of a sudden this. I picture he looks like Klaus Schwab or whatever his name is.
Whiplash had the ability to change people's minds on passive things. That's why I call him Whiplash, because he can make somebody change their mind.
Oh, okay, there you go. Now you're thinking laterally. I hate saying things.
You can do anything against their personality. Like if somebody doesn't want to kill somebody, you can't make them kill somebody, no matter how angry they were at. But if somebody goes like, they don't really want to punch you, but they're going to punch you, like, you don't want to punch me. You're like, fine, you're right. I don't want to punch you.
So Brian Christow is here. Brian, if you want to join us, there's an open invite. We're playing character creation challenge. The rules are you throw out either a name, or you throw out a name, a power, and a weakness, but you only pick 2 of the 3, and then we fill in the rest, and then try to make it a cool character. Like if you're purposely making a silly character, whatever, but we want to try to make like a viable, cool character. And Brian has a cool character, Six Gun Gorilla. It's a really good comic. And by the way, Brian Bow loved what you said about his comic. It made his day. Like and sub, yo. I'm so bad about asking people to do. I'm such a bad YouTuber. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we have the handy dandy super chat option down there in the corner. I'm not averse to money, although I'm not going to beg for it. And all right, I almost spiraled into my own dark empath that I'm trying to avoid. I had the drawing toy in your thumbnail. I used it for Champions characters. Oh yes, for those couple of people asked in my thumbnail, it's Mighty Man and Monster Maker kit. It came out when I was a kid, and it had these plates, and the plates snapped into these and then you put a piece of paper down, and then you put the cover down so it held everything, and you just took a pencil and you smeared it, and it drew. So you can make like a guy with octopus arms and robot legs. You know what I mean? Like you could get all the matching pieces, but that's kind of boring. So the only thing that bothered me about the Mighty Men and Monster Maker kit is they should have made expansions. You know what I mean? With more and more different things. But this is something that I think would be fun to make nowadays. But I don't know if people would do it because, it's almost like they do it on an iPad. You wouldn't do it pencil and paper anymore.
It's a lost fun art mechanic.
Right. Like Spirograph. Who's going to buy Spirograph where they could just hit things on that computer?
For younger kids, I think it's amazing for them to have. Right. It's just gonna we enjoyed it when we got a little bit older because that was still within of what the things we like. I think younger kids would still love to do that today. I just don't think preteens would like it so much.
So Old Dirty Fatty has Little Monster. A picked on, put upon midget gets the power to become a big, powerful creature. So you almost did all 3 because his name is Little Monster. His weakness is he's a midget, and his power becomes a big, powerful creature. So I was thinking midget's not a weakness. That's just his innate trait. So
Well, you have to put him down or pick on him to initiate the power. So that is a weakness.
right, so he needs some sort of emotional trigger, and he's reluctant to do it because once he snaps that emotional trigger, it's bad. It's like the Hulk. You know what I mean? Like he's so he's already a monster. No, he's just a midget who becomes a monster. So he's like the opposite of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We forget that if you read the book of Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll is a normal human. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's a dirty old man. He's a pervert. He's a sex pest, whatever you kids are saying. So he makes a potion and he actually shrinks and gets denser. So he gets, he becomes like a dwarf in the books, and all of his features get deformed because he condenses, and then he goes out and assaults women. He has a built-in disguise, and then the potion wears off. I don't know what you're talking about. That was a little dwarf. I remember writing a paper about it. He created his own inner child, but they always have him a giant where he's actually different in the book. But Little Monster is the opposite. He's a little dwarf who here it is. What do you think about this, Creative Welshman? As he gets bigger, his skin tears, and you actually see his muscles and his bones, and it's painful and horrible, and he literally leaves a trail of bloody tissue everywhere he goes. And then when he condenses, he needs stitches.
It sort of reminds me of Mount's woman from My Hero Academia.
Oh, I still got to read that.
Whenever she gets emotional, her powers accidentally trigger and she becomes a
Wait a minute. A woman gets emotional? Now you're talking fiction.
Yeah, Mount Lady is a great character, and plus, Harada really knows how to angle her best assets, especially when she's 60 feet tall.
Okay. Brian says he would love. Hey, Brian, you want to read another story? I wrote a story yesterday, but the thing is, I'm challenging myself to put it out as fast as possible. So if I send you the script, this sounds like a threat. I'm asking you a favor. But if you want to do it, I need feedback immediately because I'm talking Renzo's going to start drawing it as soon as I get enough feedback from a few people. And Brian doesn't realize. Brian knows he's just a humble guy. Brian knows he's talented. He's there's such a thing as false modesty, but he's a humble guy. He doesn't want to go to his head. And Brian is so freaking talented. I would love to work with him, but he's doing his own thing. I'm lucky enough that I get like a page. He actually gave me a page, and I bumped it out of Heroic Tales. I literally, because I had a page from Fabrizio, from Matt Barr, and Brian Bao. Those goofy inserts, and I literally rolled dice to see who was getting bumped because I had one page too much. So Brian Bowes, his page will be in Heroic Tales 3. The Patriarch's not going to have the funny ads because that's a whole other thing. I would do a Vladimir Dekinsky versus Blind Dead comic with him in a heartbeat. Oh yeah. Anybody who works with Brian Bow is absolutely lucky. Absolutely lucky. Such a talent. El Demonio Negro, a former Aztec era vampire who now hunts his own kind and other monsters. His costume is a luchador outfit. He has all the weakness. Oh, this is a full character. There's nothing for me to do here, Tony. You're not following the rules. You got to give me 2 of the 3. But this is your fully fledged character. And it's funny that you said this because I've been dying to do a luchador type character ever since I read Hellboy in Mexico. And I keep bouncing ideas off Renzo and Oscar, and they keep going, that's something a gringo would think of. There already is one of this, because I don't know all of the luchador characters. The last one I wanted to do was El Santo. And Oscar's
I think for backstory, he was a former sacrifice, but they used special drugs, but it had an interesting effect on his body. So now he's come back from the dead, and now he's trying to take revenge on the people that sacrificed him.
There you go. And
because he's got the word Negro in his name, I'm assuming he's going to be Spanish, actually.
Oh yeah, you can't have an Irish guy being an Aztec vampire. I mean,
He's a Spaniard who's out for revenge against the Aztecs.
That's a good one, but I forget it. Thermos with the ability of making food the right temperature. Changing the temperature too much takes time and energy. So I am Thermos. I will keep your beer cold. Your hot dogs will be lukewarm. It's too much energy.
Give it more of a restaurant, or something that actually regulates temperature. Like hot plate or something like that. Somebody that can slightly change temperature, just tap it a little bit.
Brian Christel says another freaky thing about Hyde is that everybody hates him the moment they see his face, but there's nothing unusual about his face. I always pictured it's like before they had the term, it's the uncanny valley. Like he looks like something fake trying to look human, like because literally he gets compacted, so his face is technically human. Have you ever just met somebody you're like, man, there's just something wrong with this guy's face? You know what I mean? That's the way. That's the way. Oh, Brian says, I'll send it to you right after tonight's episode for sure.
No, but people say that about me.
That what?
Something about his face.
Oh, that you got to freak, dude. Right, but we're both writers. What are we gonna do? Just here, you take the pen. Okay, give me the. You know what I mean? Although I would love to. I'd like with anybody. El Santo is my boy. Yeah. What I said I wanted to make. This was my idea. I wanted to have, this what do they call it? The City of God in Brazil, that big shanty town. So I was like, what if, like, I saw that movie, City of God, and I kind of got fascinated with like, what if they said that people are born, live, and die there? There's no records of them. The government just abandoned it. They're like, so what if they had their own like Daredevil, their own Spider-Man, so like a non-powered Batman type guy? And I was just like, I just thought like it's a shantytown, the Shantytown Saint. So that was the name going on in my head. So I was like, yeah, so he's like a luchador. And then I moved it when I found out that there's a dangerous shantytown in Mexico City. I forgot, Renzo was telling me about it. He goes, you don't go there. It's bad. It's bad. So I moved it to Mexico, and I was called him the Saint. And then like there already is a Saint. Renzo's Oscar sent me comics. I watched a couple of movies. They're surprisingly fun, So we came up with another guy whose name I'm not going to mention, and he's going to debut in a story that I'm writing right now about. And this is the story that I wanted to write since the beginning. This is World Building, the comic, the story. Dun dun dun. There's going to be like 100 character. Renzo's going to hate it. There's going to be like 100 super. Why? Because it's a funeral for one of the major superheroes. So it's just an excuse to. And this guy loved being a superhero. He's the greatest, nicest guy in the world. And his daughter's giving a speech. He's like, my father would have been so happy to see everybody here in their costumes. He loved being a superhero. He loved the costumes. So this is just going to be like I'm thinking the back cover is going to be like a black and white, like silhouettes of everybody with just numbers and then their names. You know what I mean? I'm all excited. Santo's my boy. The movie is great. Check out, come and see. What are we checking out? What are we coming to see? So anybody else have any? Arkham, you have any you want to do?
No, I was just waiting for chat to bring some up.
Creative Welshman, do you have any? Remember, a name, a power, or a weakness. Pick two of the three.
Well, this all counts as 2 of the 3. The Contortionist.
Okay, so his name is the Contortionist. So you're going to give me a power or a weakness now.
Well, that's just it. That is his power. He can twist and contort his body in impossible angles.
Okay. So his weakness would be
potassium. He always gets cramps.
So it's the Contortionist.
You imagine you're all twisted up like a pretzel, and then you get cramps, and you start screaming in place. Sorry. I think it'd be hilarious.
You try to throw a punch at him, but he always twists his body in such a way that he avoids the punch. So his weakness, I would assume, would be that he can get tangled up.
Yeah, I was gonna say he needs to see a chiropractor once in a while because like his body's all like in order to get back to normal, if he contorts too much, it's you know how like the teacher says, quit making that face, it'll stay like that. So like at the end of the fight, everybody's like, "Good job, we got Doctor, we got Doctor Fire. He's defeated." And the contortionist is laying on the ground like, "A little help over here,"
Like picturing using his powers for the first time, and he gets all contortion. And those little puppets that if you press the bottom, it just collapses and it can't come back up.
I was also
dislocates everything; it just falls down the ground.
What if he wears like an exoskeleton because his body like is so used to twisting and turning that if he doesn't have the exoskeleton, he has like no support. So like it's almost like he twists and turns and wraps around you and he could strangle you. But if he stands up straight, he's he needs a little bit of support. So it's like yes, the movie City of God is great. Yeah, I like the movie. I like that. That like I said. Okay, here's another question. Then, since we're waiting for more people, what inspires you? When you do you say I want to make up a story, and then try to come up with anything or a character, or do you just get them as you're going along during the course of the day?
I sort of try to come up with a purpose for the character in the story.
Okay. Like I was going to talk about something else, but since Colonel Zaid said tragedy is a Greek word for sad plays. Basic like there's comedies and there's tragedies, and if you go back to the beginning of the words, a comedy is basically a play where nobody dies at the end. That's the original term, and it turned into humorous or whatever. Tragedy is when people die at the end, and the word tragedy, the etymology, it basically means goat song. Trajois, I think, is a goat. So basically, it's the wailing and lamenting. People sound like goats. Ah! So I was always thinking of a character named Tragedy, who's like a child of Pan. He looks like a goat, and he wails. But then I started thinking more sinister and creepy. I was thinking of. Either one of you guys Jewish? No? Okay, so I was thinking like in ancient Israel, the high priest would take the Judas goat, the sacrificial goat, and they would ceremoniously give the goat all of their sins and then send the goat out into the wilderness. Sometimes they would slaughter the goat, sometimes they would just send it out in the wilderness. And the original term was the Azazel goat. So I was just thinking, what if it was a particularly bad year in Israel, like something, and the high priest was like, we gotta get this goat, and they all give the sins, but the sins were unusually heinous that particular year, and the Azazel goat went into the wilderness, and it basically became like a demon. It developed its own sentience and stuff like that. Then I was thinking, what if, because Azazel in the demon, I forget the book of the demon. He's the god that whispered secrets to humanity. He taught humanity secrets of smelting iron, cosmetics, and he's kind of a trickster demon. So what if like this goat found a woman and mated with her, because that's what Greek mythology and demons do, and then tragedy was born. So I was thinking of like that, and now we got this horrible goat boy. And I can't help but think of Jim Brewer's Goat Boy, but so that's how I think. That's how I'm always thinking of stories. Kind
of reminds me of there's an old horror movie in the 80s called The Beast Within, where it wasn't a goat, it was like a locust demon that ended up impregnating this woman. If you get a chance, and if you're a big fan of practical effects and body horror, I mean, to the Thing level, our Scanners level of grossness, check out the original 1984 The Beast Within. You will not be disappointed.
I will say, if you're a fan of body horror, please check out Heroic Tales 3 when it's finally available. The Mary Sue story. I didn't realize it when I was writing it, but it is a body horror story. It is like
the first Mary Sue was pretty graphic.
When I finished writing it, there's a little bit of comedy in it because King Fu is a big part of it. And to me, he brings out a little bit of silliness, so he lightens up. But when I was done writing it, I messaged Brian Bauer. I said, I just wrote a horror story, and the other half of it is The Raven, which is a horror story. Just but instead of Jason, it's The Raven. We got the Gimp. His power is an almost inhuman level of pain tolerance. Oh, hey Emily. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Just wanted to drop by and say hi.
Oh, it's good to see you. Emily has been in my chats since the beginning of my channel, so it's good to see you finally pop in. How's everything?
Everything's good. I've been working on some art lately.
Yeah, I started following you on Instagram. I see your art.
Thank you.
So good. Do you want to play, or are you just popping in to say hello?
Just popping in to say hello.
Yeah, you could.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to find that. That's nice to finally officially meet. I used to joke for a while that there's an army of Emily's someplace, because doesn't matter what time of the day, boom, Emily's in the chat, and then I go to watch somebody else's channel, and Emily's in the chat. So there's like a machine that's just like you hit a button and Emily comes out.
That's funny.
Oh, I don't know if I should tell this story. People are gonna think less of me, but we were having lunch and I went to McDonald's. Still drinking it, 99 cents coffee. So I get my 99-cent coffee and I'm drinking my coffee. And they're talking, oh, John makes comic books. And whenever they say John makes comic books, the first thing people think is I draw. I can't draw. So the guy sitting across from me is a guy that I kind of know, but not really. He's like, oh, I draw too. And I was like, well, I just write. My buddy Rento does most of the art, and I hire a couple of people. And like, you should hire him to draw. And I said, well, let me see your art first. You know what I mean? Everybody. And he drew the worst versions of like Naruto characters I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, I better get back to work now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Naruto.
Do you want to know what Naruto's name means?
What?
Swirl.
Oh, right.
Yeah, his full name, Naruto Uzumaki. Yeah, it just basically means swirl.
Oh,
And his headband's got a little swirl on it. So his name is basically a joke.
Well, most of those characters, like Frieza, all these. I can't get into Dragon Ball Z. The names are horrible.
Oh no, that's sort of like Toriyama's naming convention. There's a joke going around in the community, says whenever he comes up with a new set of characters, he's basically gone down to his local supermarket. So with the Granola Survivors, sort of like, it's all based on different cereals, and the villains are the heaters. So you got gas, oil, electric.
Yeah, one of them's name's Piccolo, and I just can't.
Well, you gotta think Super Saiyan. All he did was grab a bushel of bananas, turn it upside down, and they're their hair. Right?
No disrespect if you like Dragon Ball Z, that's fine. I just can't get. I'm weird.
It's just how he names his characters, and so with the Briefs family, they're all named after underwear.
So back to the game. Tony Grigo says the Gimp. His power is an almost inhuman level of pain tolerance. So this is kind of an interesting character. I kind of picture him as the henchman to like a major villain. And what he does is they basically throw the Gimp in the way as like an obstacle or a roadblock, and they're beating up the Gimp. But here's his weakness. And his weakness is almost the power. He loves the pain. He's not immune to it. So if you break his leg is broken. But in his twisted mind, he likes the pain. So he won't fight you, but he will get pulped. You know what I mean? So
there's an anime I'm watching there's a scene in there that's kind of similar. It's called Gaikama, right? They all got separated. One of the main characters is walking through and somebody's trying to engage him in combat, but won't engage him, trying to piss off the other guy. He just looks at him and he goes, oh, okay, I get it. Trying his best to get him engaged. He's like, your power is affected by me engaging you in combat. you played your hand way too early.
Yeah,
And
but
they're, oh, come on, just fight me. It's just like, nah, you screwed up, man. Amateur. I ain't
interesting.
gonna fight you. You're that amateur.
My old foreman's always telling me about some of these cool anime characters that I don't know. So the tasteful thickness is asking me if you're Jewish. What is I can't pronounce this. I don't know what that is. I don't think anybody here is Jewish, so I don't know what that is. So
No.
the answer. Old Dirty Fatty, a super detective who has the uncanny ability to blend into the background, and people can't seem to remember how he looks. It's funny that you said that.
Wallflower.
Wallflower is good because I have a character named Wallflower.
John Doe.
And John Doe is a really good one. You jumped ahead of me. I have a bad guy whose power is people just can't accept that he's there. And I don't want to give away his name yet, but he didn't start out as a bad guy. He went through this process, and that's his power. Is he's like if he's walking in the crowd, people will get out of his way, but they won't know. They won't even realize that they're getting out of somebody's way. Like he could put his hand in your pocket and take your car keys, and it's like he'll get out of your way, whatever, but he just won't acknowledge you. So through the isolation, he just became more and more of a villain. Like I almost gave his name, but John Doe is a great name for this detective character. That is a really good name. So yeah, there you go.
I did still have a character I came up. The last stream you did based on this, and there was one where it's sort of like a person who can disappear by holding their breath, basically.
Yeah,
I sort of came up with a villain idea and just sort of called him John Doe. It's basically, as long as he holds his breath, you can't see him. He's still there, but you don't acknowledge him.
Okay. I was thinking that, like, the super detective, the first name, the observer or the spectator, he just, or the witness, something like that. He's just there, and then like you take a picture, like right now, he would be on the screen. There would be a fifth box, but nobody remembers. You know what I mean? And he would talk, and we would just talk over him. But I picture if this did super detective, he would be able to control that ability. Like he would, he's got the sexy woman working in the office. He's like, don't bother looking for me for the next few days. Not that you can find me, but I'm on the case. You know what I mean? She's like, okay, well, let me just get you coffee. Where'd you go, John? And he's already, he turned on his obfuscation field, and he's out. That's a cool name.
Would you consider it kind of like that passive ability like hobbits have, where they can just disappear?
If he was a detective, to me, he would have to be able to control the ability. You know what I mean? Otherwise, how are people going to hire him? You know what I mean? Unless he's just like, I'm doing this because I got nothing else to do. That goat sounds like a way to not take accountability. I didn't come up with the idea. The Azazel goat or the Judas goat or what do they call it? There's another word, the scapegoat. That's literally the origin of the word. The scapegoat.
Where it comes from, yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot, like the Romans. They made fun of Christians because they were just like, so all you do is ask for forgiveness and you get it. You don't have to make up to it. You don't have to pay off the wrong dude. Like, I did bad things to Arkham's family, and I'm saying I'm sorry, and you're supposed to forgive. They thought that was weakness. And they said the same thing about the Jewish people. They were just like, oh, you put your, oh, how convenient. You throw it in a goat, and then you kill the goat. And then I don't know what you know about the ancient world, but whenever they sacrificed stuff, they ended up eating it anyway. Like the Romans used to, like, we sacrifice a ram, and then we roast the ram and eat the ram and have a feast. You know what I mean? Like,
Just reminds me of Mel Brooks. The Christians are so poor, they can only afford one God.
oh, God, yeah.
Is that from History of the World?
Yeah, History of the World.
That was
Watch
history.
that movie with like somebody under 20 years old who's never seen it before. They are absolutely horrified.
Oh no, I would watch YouTube videos of all these Gen Zers or whatever they're called now. Watch like Blazing Saddles, History of the World, and watch it for the first time. They laugh their asses off because they're used to modern film, which has no humor whatsoever.
I saw a YouTube video of college kids, like within the last 5 years, watching Benny Hill for the first time, and they were cracking up because when I was a little kid, Benny Hill was on in America, but I didn't know about it. In England, they were like embarrassed by Benny Hill, and they just forgot about him. And he like the English were like, "You like Benny Hill? That's like embarrassing." And poor Benny Hill was, by all accounts, he was just a nice guy. He kind of like fell in love with this woman, but she was married to somebody else, and he never married, and he took care of those kids' family. He was just like a nice guy, and then he died like heartbroken because he was like, "This is what I'm going to be remembered as an embarrassment." And like he lived in an apartment. He was very modest, and turned out he had a fortune in the bank, but he lived like a middle class guy living in an apartment in the city. I don't know. I like it.
My mom would come in screaming because I'd watch it with my dad all the time. And I was just a little tyke. What are you letting him watch?
Oh, you give me a phone and be like, John, look at the villains on this chick.
I still remember the stick it up the chimney fireman joke. You know,
I remember my father literally called me on the phone. I lived in the basement. I had my own phone number, and he literally called me on the phone. Put on channel 7. I put on channel 7. It was the Spanish channel, and girls were jumping up and down to get like if they grabbed the ball, they would open up the ball, and it would have like a prize inside, and it was all hot chicks jumping up. So that's the house I grew up in. You know, you better believe. Like,
thanks, Dad.
Benny Hill's on. The whole family sitting around watching it. My mom's dishes. The Negotiator, Israel's premier superhero. But Tony, here's the spin. It's played by the actor who got shot in the head in Die Hard. Booby, you're talking to me now. That guy, whatever that actor.
I was going to say, nah, I won't.
It's funny that you said Melchizedek. My wife just came downstairs last night and asked me about Melchizedek. You know, my wife's taking these Old Testament classes, Bible classes. And I was like, it's funny that, and then I said to my wife, it's funny that you said Melchizedek, because that was the very first episode of theology that Cooper and I did. I was like, who's this Melchizedek? And then I was like, you want to talk about it on my channel? So Cooper basically taught me about this character. By the way, here's a plug. Thursday at noon, Cooper, Telepathic Bunny, and myself will do the next episode of theology, and the topic is Jesus as an exorcist. And I don't know what. Oh, this is Zaid's Melchizedek Thevenot. Okay, everybody saying hello, Emily. Hello, Emily. I'm purposely back in the comments because I'm scanning the comments for submissions for this game. Your boy Zach Matters. Psst, I'm not buying your Culture War Bonds comics. Sell them to other middle-aged Republicans. I hope hundreds of thousands of middle-aged Republicans buy my Cultural War games. You draw? Of course you draw. You draw like unbelievable. I would put him in the top 1% of artists. It's so good. Of course, this creepoid knows about Naruto. Google Melchizedek. Okay, it's crazy. Yeah, he is an interesting character. How do we keep superpowers? That's up to your. That's up to your universe. Similar to my idea that a thief character that emits a psychic field that makes people have the unnerving feeling that they forgot something or are supposed to be doing something else. That guy is invading my house because all day long I keep thinking that every day when I go to work, I'm like, I forgot something. I think
once this grows in, that power is always affected on us.
Conveniently, a lot of gods only wanted to eat the bones and undesirable parts. Yeah, it's very convenient. In Greek mythology, what they did was I forget who it was, but they came up with the idea of sacrifice. And I think it was Prometheus. Prometheus, the Titan of forethought, the only Titan that was friendly with humanity. What he did was he took all the meat from the ox, and he put the bones on top of it, and then he took all the meat, and I think he cooked it with something that made it smell bad, and then he took all the fat and he took all the bones and covered it with the fat and made it smell appealing. So Zeus, which one do you want as your sacrifice? Zeus took the fat, and it became all the the guts and the fat and the bones, and then humans conveniently got the meat. So they tricked Zeus. Jesus technically was what? I know you guys having a conversation. When any British performer does really well and gets the mainstream, we all do that. Yeah, Prometheus brought fire from the gods. I love Prometheus. He's one of my favorite characters. He's basically the Greek Jesus figure, the tragic figure. He brought fire to man. He stole fire from the gods, and then Zeus chained him to a rock, and an eagle would come down every day and eat his liver, and it would regenerate, and then until finally Hercules killed the eagle and broke him free.
I'm curious to see how the Odyssey will be.
I'm sorry?
I'm curious to see how that new movie, The Odyssey, is going to be.
I don't know, man. I have zero tolerance for like race swapping, and I know people are like, it's not a real story, but like, can you imagine making an African epic and putting all white people in these characters? Like, Athena is vividly described as she's tall, white skin, gray, bright eyes, the tallest, most beautiful of the goddesses, and then they get this girl who should be working at Foot Locker to play her. You know, it's just, and then Helen of Troy is played by who I think is a beautiful woman, the girl from the Black Panther. But what's wrong with a Greek? You know, get every other race we got to be. Oh no, you have to be a dwarf to play a dwarf. You have to be a lesbian to play a lesbian. But historical European characters, everything goes up. So I'm not gonna see. Plus, the Greek armor was colorful. The Greek ships, they painted the sails and everything like that. This looks like, why make it?
It felt like he gave no shits about the actual story and representation of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love his body of work. I really do.
Yeah.
But from the armor designs, like John said, the Batman, come on. There was nothing wrong with that burgundy gold look, right? There's a CGI video out of somebody CGI'd time period accurate armor on all the actors in every sequence of
I've
video.
seen that.
And it looks great. It looks just as good as that black plastic crap that they were wearing, if not actually better, in my opinion.
I remember there was a 60s miniseries that I watched in high school about it.
Well, it's like, I'm like if you've seen the show Deadwood, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the best ending because of things that happen, right? Doesn't matter to me. I could watch that show again because of the dialogue, the costuming, the set pieces, the wardrobe, everything was period. You get sucked into that period. Every time they walk out, every time a camera pans, it's that period. When I watch the Odyssey, there's nothing there. It looks like a Hollywood sci-fi.
It's funny about Deadwood is
throws me off from Greek mythology too.
There's a scene in Deadwood. I can't remember the character's name, but this is gonna be mean. But he called her the Gimp, the handicapped woman. That.
Oh, Jewel. I love Jewel.
Yeah, there's a scene where she's walking, and the ground is just mud, and she slips and falls, and nobody helps her.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
even the Chinese lady looked down on her.
Yeah, they all just the Chinese. No Chinese person was going to touch a white girl, and no white girl was going to touch. You know what I mean? That's just unfortunate circumstances of the time. But nobody helped her, and then she gets up. Yeah, Jewel, and she's covered in. And then they pan back, and the entire camp of Deadwood was just a mud pit. It was like the second Woodstock. Just and I was like, if this was like a traditional Hollywood movie,
everybody would be clean and perfect.
Everybody would be clean. There would be horses on the hitching post, and I'm surprised they didn't have horse poop all over the place. But then Jewel wouldn't want to fall into the horse poop.
If you watch that show again, this is something I picked up. I think that's actually Al's sister, because he keeps yelling at her, but he doesn't make her do anything. Like, she's scrubbing the blood and stuff like that. He goes, "Oh, God damn it, you always take too long," stuff like that. Go make me breakfast. And he takes his clothes off and he finishes it for her.
Right.
Every time she's doing something hard, he yells at her to go do something easier, and then he finishes her work.
Right.
Every episode.
Well, they made it. Oh man, the episode where the preacher dies.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God, I can't. I get teary eyed to this day. I get teary eyed just thinking about it. It is the greatest episode in TV history, if you ask me. And he explains that he had a brother that had a handicap. You know what I mean? And he protected his brother. So I don't know if Jewel's his sister. Maybe I got to watch it again, or if he just has a weakness for.
That could be it too.
But the thing is, if you, I read up on all of the real Al Swearingen was an
Oh,
evil.
he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, evil son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
You saw the movie, right?
yeah.
Okay, you remember when they brought in that girl from nowhere and they kept on reminding everybody how much she looked like, I don't want to spoil anything, what happened to the hooker at the end of season 3?
Yeah.
Oh, you look like this girl that we used to work here a couple years ago. I thought it would have been perfect if they would have done the true death of Al Swearingen, where he died in the middle of an alley somewhere. I was picturing that girl could have been the actual sister of that one prostitute getting revenge.
Tony's got a good one for you in the chat.
Check out this. Hey, John, you keep threatening to come in. This is an open invite, so just click on the link and come in if you want, John. Creative
One of us
with the two. I just wish I knew what Colonel Zay was talking about. Tony Grigo. Tony always has El Chanso, a morbidly obese crime fighter that can eat everything. What does Chanso mean? Does it mean fat guy or something?
Fat
But,
woman
like
in
Google.
Spanish. Oh no, fat guy.
El
I
Chanso.
was going to make a joke and say, but isn't that the half Klingon woman from the new Star Trek?
What is she? She's not Bajoran, is she? No, she's half Klingon and half
Jem'Hadar.
yeah, who don't have female. They're all clones.
Yeah.
And then was it Jaden was raised by a female Klingon woman? Anybody ever watch Star Trek? Klingon women are vicious. They are no pushovers. These people do not know how.
I know.
Star Trek at all.
In the last episode of Enterprise was the end of Star Trek. As far as I'm concerned. Student,
I would-
guy, how you doing? How you doing?
The only episode of Star Trek that I've seen.
The new Star Trek, or as I like to call it, Pigs in Space, I will not be watching.
No.
The only episode of Star Trek I've seen, and I'm talking the original classic series, is the one where so many crew members are doing this seance experiments with plants, and then the ghost of one of them is going back in time to haunt them, and is trying to kill them, and in the end they do an exorcism, and the guy kills his own ghost, but he dies. That's the only one I've ever seen.
The original Star Trek?
Yes, with Spock.
I don't know which episode are you talking about.
That one doesn't come to my head, but it's been a while.
Is it the Jack the Ripper one that traumatized me as a child? Red Jack. Ah!
No, one of the crew members is being haunted by his own ghost, and in the end, they're trying to exercise it, but they do it with an electric chair, and that's how the crew member died. So they've essentially created a time loop.
That's not an original Star Trek.
I'm sure
I'll
it
look
was.
that up.
It had Spock and Kirk in it.
No. Haunted by his own ghost in no. I've seen all 72 episodes. I got to look that up. So El Chanso, a morbidly obese crime fighter that can eat anything, and his weakness is
He has explosive diarrhea.
Stomach cramps.
he
I gotta eat our way in, but everybody leave as soon as I do it.
he gets winded walking down the street. Where
No, you can't fit through the door.
Yeah, I hate that YouTube changed this. That I say that they use the last names to the first names. I wish everybody used the first names. I was talking about inspirations. So here's a weird thing today. I was putting on do you ever get tired of music? Sometimes I get tired of food. We were talking about first world problems, like Richard Embry, it's like looking for something interesting to eat. But I'm at work. I put on a Bluetooth station, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to this again. I'm tired of listening to this. So I put on like a Frank Sinatra station, and it was Bobby Darin's Clementine came on, and it just you hear that's oh my darling, Clementine.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that song your whole life, but I just stopped. and I restarted the song. That is the saddest song I've ever heard. Does anybody know what that song's about?
Mm-mm.
It's about a guy that loves Clementine. Clementine came out to help her father, an old miner, 49, and she's mining gold. And they're so poor that she's wearing boxes on her feet because they don't have shoes. So she has these boxes on her feet, and then she trips over a branch and falls into the river and gets washed away. And the lover sees all this, but he can't swim and he can't save her. And in some of the stories, the father jumps in to save her and he drowns too. In some of the stories, he falls in love with Clementine. But it's the saddest thing. It's like, you are gone and lost forever. And what does he keep saying? Dreadful sorrow, dreadful. It's the saddest thing in the world. That and the other song is "You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine." My mom used to sing that to me as a kid. It's about a baby that died, And my wife and I were talking about that just today, and she said, "Well, the 18th century things were tough." That's probably
of a song that would occasionally play on the radio. But basically, it's about this young woman who lives with her father up on a mountain. He's always saying, "One day we'll go down to the village. There you'll meet a nice young man, and you'll be married, and you'll be happy."
I don't know.
But
This
as the song goes on, they never do go down to the village. And we're just thinking, why doesn't that stupid woman just run away? Because clearly she's upset living there on her own with her father.
Because she's a good kid, does what mom tells her. This was back when people have respect. So RRTNZ, 10 New Zealand dollars, is casting a spell on us with which I personally don't think that Welsh is a language. I think it's a joke that they're playing on the rest of the world.
He opened up the Necronomicon, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't read it out loud. Don't read it out loud. Yeah, you almost fooled me, Ara. We almost unleashed the Shub-Niggurath upon the world. You almost got. You need more than $10 for me to unleash it upon my friend.
No elder
Happy
being
New
allowed.
Year, John. I think it's like, did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, you're Welsh. You could read it.
I can read a bit of it.
I did have a good Christmas. I had a Happy New Year. For Christmas, I went to my niece's house, and they're good cooks over there. My wife made the greatest lasagna I've ever had in my life. And then for New Year's, I don't do much for New Year's. My wife and I just watch TV. We watch Die Hard for New Year's, and we just had potato chips and soda and watch Die Hard. But
I didn't do anything for New Year's. Besides some character days, and I can go back to the gym.
Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, teenage brother and sister who fight crime, but specifically target CP offenders. It's funny that you say that because I have basically like a Joker type villains based on Raggedy Ann and Andy, and I don't want to say their names, but so you might see them fight the Raven. I'm trying to come up with a good role salary for my guys. For my character.
Are those two in particular? It's like the souls of dead people, but they're possessing sort of like life-size dolls.
I didn't get what you said. Could you repeat that?
Are they sort of like two dead people, but their souls are possessing life-sized dolls?
Are you speaking Welsh? Because I could not understand what you just said.
They're life-size dolls.
Oh, yes.
They're possessed by the souls of the deceased.
Oh, I got you. That is a creepy concept. Okay.
Like the Annabelle doll?
That would be terrifying. A life-sized Raggedy Ann and Andy doll that is possessed by murder victims. And they're like, what, that they want revenge against the people that killed them, or they want to add to the collection and make more souls for the doll. That is really either way.
Actually, so they can then be at peace.
That is really creepy. And put
Mm-hmm.
that in your book, man. That would sell. That's good. Greetings from the homeless shelter. I like your
Good
shirt.
Master Hobo.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Master Hobo.
Dungeons and Dragons. This is like I buy this shirt whenever it wears out. I buy another one, and it's funny because every time I go into Dunkin' Donuts wearing this, like, oh, you shirt, it's like Dunkin' Donuts, but it says Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, yeah, I know about the shirt. Yes.
Speaking of which, John, I picked this up out of my bookshelf and I opened it up just to go down memory lane. There's like 4 modules in there. I'm like, hell yes. I want to play that one day.
Emily, you got a fan? Mr. Hobo says hello. Is the Raven's nemesis called Nevermore? It's funny. My character, the Raven, he's a dummy. And somebody sooner or later, I wrote 3 Raven stories, and so far nobody brought up Edgar Allan Poe. And I want to add it in. I have a story where he teams up with a bunch of other superheroes. So the other superheroes are pretty smart. So they're going to say something, and the Raven's going to be like, what are you talking about? He literally doesn't know. He doesn't.
Wednesday.
He's a dummy. You know,
I thought of a goth character that got superpowers and named himself Nevermore. And I always thought it'd been funny to have like maybe another villain or superhero kind of make fun of him a little bit. I'm like, really, Nevermore? You're dressed in all black. You have like crow powers and Nevermore. Yeah.
He's a guy named, so far, I don't want to spoil it, but and Heroic Tales 3 is the first appearance of the Raven. Although you've seen him already, because Ron Mosicki did a cover, which is going to be Patriarch number 2, where Patriarch fights the Raven, which is why we got to do Heroic Tales 3 first. And he fights a Joker homage. And you'll see how I feel about the Joker. I hate the Joker.
Yeah.
You want to go Jason Todd on him.
And then Ron Mosicki is drawing the 3rd appearance of the Raven right now. And he's fighting a villain called Curtains, the most detestable thing on the world, a theater critic. I want to see the Patriarch fight a villain named the Matriarch. Didn't Wonder Woman just create a character called the Matriarch? Did that happen?
Sounds like a character out of like martial law.
Yeah, the Invisible Man. That was from what's the hell's the name of that movie?
The Invisible Man with the one guy who was the officer from Casablanca.
It was Ginny Garofalo was the bowler, and what's his name? Ben Stiller was what was his name? Captain Rage or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Stream Man.
yeah.
The Invisible Kid. He could turn invisible as long as nobody was looking at him.
My problem with that movie,
Mystery Man.
it was like the big studio version to drown out a smaller movie with the same story, basically, was an early James Gunn film called The Specials.
Yeah.
Much better superhero mockery film than that one. The Specials is hilarious.
I saw that.
Watch that, you will laugh your ass off. Yeah,
Did
the mystery.
Did you see the one? What's the name of the movie? But I can't think of the actor's name. He was the guy from The Office, and then Ellen Page, back when Ellen Page was Ellen Page, and he was the Bolt, and then she was his sidekick. I think.
I think it was it called just Superhero?
I think it was called Super.
Yeah, and
They have Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon was the drug dealer, and what's her name was the girl Arwen from Lord of the Rings was the girlfriend. It's a psychotic movie. It's really good, but it was just yeah.
No, I've seen.
I watched it. I was like, oh my god! It seems to be so lighthearted, but
I saw a clip of superhero movie recently. I think you might have got some of the characters mixed up because I'm sure the villain's called the Hourglass, and that the main character calls himself Dragonfly, I think.
Oh yeah, that was that one movie, superhero movie.
Yeah, that was mid 2000s, right?
what movie was that?
It was this
Hero.
one with Drake Bell.
Oh, I don't know. I got to see the movie. I like to watch all these superhero movies.
It actually has Leslie Nielsen as like an Uncle Ben type guy.
Anyone with invisibility in your heroic world yet? I said there's Wallflower. There's a guy whose name he doesn't quite have invisibility. He has what I call obfuscation, which is better because like invisibility, you could bump into somebody and be like if I'm invisible, you could hear my footsteps. You know what I mean? But like this character whose name I'm not going to reveal, his power is like a sonic wave so that you ignore him. So even if he bumps into you, you just like, I bumped into something. You know what I mean? And you instantly forget him. And through intense concentration, as long as you have eye contact, you can talk to him. But it's like flexing a muscle. So he eventually just gets discouraged. Like he goes into a store, he'll take something and drink a soda. And then he goes into he'll steal a pair of pants. And eventually, after like being ignored his whole life, he turns into a full-on supervillain. He started out wanting to be a hero, but his powers and the way the world treats him is he becomes a villain. I think there's some powers that just promote supervillainy, like telepathy or mind control. If you got mind control, you're going to be a villain. Like it's going to be like a year before, you know what I mean? That's like having the ring, the one ring from the Lord of the Rings. It's just corruption. You know, like if you got super strength or flight, you could be a good guy. You could be a bad guy, but like, I don't care how good you are. You have mind control, you're going to turn bad after a while. What about Bruhathulu? Cthulhu's younger brother who protects humanity from the elder gods, but always makes a big mess when he appears. Bruhathulu. Okay, like he's like a Bruja. I'm doing his superhero stories I listen, but he's got Superman movies set with some light powers. He's got the Superman move set. So what? He's got like Superman and light. The superhero movie was hilarious. The Horde, a man with the power to create an infinite number of copies of himself. They share a hive mind. That's a good one. Like a multiple man. I'm kind of fascinated by that power. And when I say I have a character, what I mean is in 20 years of role playing, I've created a non-player character with these powers. And I have a guy who could replicate himself, and without getting too into the weeds of the game, everybody has a pool of experience points. So he actually has to, he divides himself into two. Half of his experience points he keeps, and the half goes into his duplicate, but he's both of them. And then that one goes on and accumulates its own experience points. And then when they merge, he gets all the experience points. And if that half divides, then you know what I mean? So, and if one of them dies, he loses those experience points. So it's not like he's going to replicate and send a guy into the fire, because that'll cost part of, and in my game, experience points equals your soul. So you're literally dividing your soul. You don't want to lose that. What's that?
You just basically created Twice from My Hero Academia.
Okay.
Twice is actually a very good character.
What's his name? Twice?
Mm-hmm.
Twice. He can create duplicates of just about anything that he knows the exact composition and data of, including other people.
Okay, well that's kind of different, because the guy I'm talking about can only replicate himself. If he knows the components of a screwdriver, he can't replicate a screwdriver.
It's kind of like the one, but as the more of those he kills versions of himself, the more powerful he gets. But instead of killing them, they just fuse together and become more powerful.
It's funny. The stupor hero who has the strength and vulnerability only when he's drunk. This is literally exactly one of the guys they did on the other channel that inspired this. A drunk, and they made basically the same thing. They called him Beer Goggles. And then I changed it. He was the Berserker, and he was a Viking guy who, instead of drink, because they said a substance. So I Berserker, and he literally takes like the same drugs that the Berserkers took, and he looks like a Viking with an axe. Like they did everything a little goofy. I tried to make more serious kind of characters. I'm going to drop the superhero book right before the boys' final season. Yeah, I'm tired of the boys. I love superheroes. I know Garth Ennis doesn't like superheroes, and I read the comic, and this comic, I bought all the boys' comics because I'm a big Garth Ennis fan, and I didn't read them. That was my problem. Was I read like the first 10 issues, and it just gave me like a queasy feeling in my stomach. But I bought them all, and then when I saw that it was over and done with, I sat and read it all in one sitting, because I have to read a comic book if I buy it. And I got to say that it was, I like the premise. You know, we're going to regulate the superhero when the superheroes get out of control. You call in the boys, and he's a good writer, but there literally was no good guys. Yui was a good guy, but even he did detestable things in the comic. You know, if I had mind control powers, I would have the villains fight each other. Yeah, that, you know, you start off good, but next thing you know, you get celebrities mailing you checks every month because you don't want to work. You still got to pay your mortgage, and now I got mind control.
I got it, John.
What?
The Mediator.
Okay, what does he do? Or pick two. Pick two of the three. You gave me his name.
He has telepathy, basically. He can control like whole crowds. He's basically like a character concept I had for a story I wanted to.
Okay. Okay, okay, good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
Where it's just all basically it's about 1 week just sort of after people start getting superpowers, but society hasn't caught on yet, and people are just sort of starting to become aware of what they can do. And so by the end of the story, the government is sort of like, oh, bloody hell, we need to sort this out now because things are getting out of hand. And so they get this character who has telepathy, and he's basically the mediator.
I was going to say this, okay, because I'm a word nerd. I love words. I'm fascinated by words. Whenever I find a new word, I always look up the etymology of the word. I hope I said that right, because if I looked up the insect of the word, like entomology, that would be wrong. But etymology. So a mediator, it's from ancient Greece. And what it originally was a bad word. If I accused you of being a mediator, what that meant was that you were sneaking off and talking to the Medes, the Persians, the enemies of Greece. So you were making secret deals with the Medes. So the mediator, he would look like Xerxes, dressed as this like elegant Persian king, and like try to win peace through diplomacy. You know, granting, okay, Arkham, you want this? Emily Kruger wants this. Creative Walshman wants this. Let's work out a deal. You know, that would be my mediator. Literally, a Mede. El Contrador, a Punisher type vigilante. We can't talk at the same time. El Contrador, a Punisher type vigilante specifically operating on the Mexican border. I really like this concept. I just need to know what the word Contrador means. That is a really good idea, very timely, and have him team up with the Horsemen. But yeah, Tony, tell me what El Contrador means. That is great. Lionheart powers flight, fortitude, super strength, a light beam like Cyclops Eyeband. He could sense when people lie, and he himself. Oh, this is your character. Okay. I had a character named Lionheart. He was a non-player character in my game, and he dressed like a knight, but he had lion, like a lion mane, lion head symbol on his shield, you know, and then like he wore like a furs around his neck, and he was, you know, a superhero knight, kind of like based on Richard the Lionheart. There you go.
I know you don't like anime that much, John.
It's not that I don't like it. I don't know it. I never said I don't like it. I just say I don't know
true. I misspoke. There is a character I think you would like. His the show, it's not so good. But the character I loved, his name was Escanor. They called him the Lion's Pride of his sin was pride.
Okay, that makes sense.
He is literally the pride of humanity. He's like the perfect human being. And like when people are like, I'm going to kill you, and it's like, who the hell do you think you are to say you're going to kill me? The fact that he doesn't even want to let you do it, the fact that you can't.
What show is this?
It's called Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay.
It's super high fantasy. It's not the greatest story in the world, but it does have some really good characters that I did like.
I kind of like, I always wanted to make like a team of the Seven Deadly Sins.
It's pretty good. There's like the 10 Commandments. They're a group of demons. And the Seven Deadly Sins are a group of heroes that were treated like demons at one point, and you come to find out why. It's not bad. It just kind of loses itself within itself towards the end.
You can't tell yet because I haven't had room in only 2 issues, but there's a reason why Patriarch has 7 children. There's a challenge, a story about a guy with death touch. He used to be a supervillain, but he's trying to go straight. Gets released from prison as part of patrol. He must fight crime, but not kill. Right? You got death touch. There's actually a Grant Morrison Animal Man story. I think it's Animal Man 4 or 5, and it's a guy who he's a comic book nerd and he wants to be a superhero, and he finds a meteor and he rushes to grab the meteor, and his hand turns red and he gets the death touch. So it's just like, I can't be a superhero. So how could you be
like Black Lantern, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it also what the Black Lantern can do? He kills people by touching them.
Yeah. He was originally El Mano, right? The hand, and that's what he did. He kills people. So how, you could be a good guy, like you just don't use your power, but then you might as well be an accountant or a cop. You know what I mean? Because your power.
You wear a different glove for how much of your death power goes through it.
Yeah, I was
Like if you just want to hurt people with your punch, you have to wear like a radiated glove, but you can still do it.
Yeah, like what do you do? Do you become
like Rogue from X-Men? Just put gloves on.
Yeah.
Like what do you do though? Are you like trying to like do you become a state executioner? You know what I mean? Or here's like, do you fight aliens that are taking over? Or could your death touch work against bacteria and you use it as a way to cure disease? You know, I don't know. Kind of interesting. And there's no way
that's true. So like you can take life, but you can also give life.
Well, then you have life touch, which is a completely different power. Then it's easy to be a good guy when you can save people's lives.
Yeah, but then you have to take life from somebody else.
Oh, there you
But
go.
then the dilemma is, I really want to save this person, but I might have to kill somebody.
Make a book called The Men and make it the total opposite of the boys. The girls.
You actually stand up for good moral choices and try to do the right thing.
That's actually kind of funny, Master Hobo. That makes me giggle. Like, we are the girls, the chicks. I do not like the boys. I'm tired of talking superheroes and deconstructed super. So I wrote one who's that's the patriarch. He's like good to the point. I got a couple of criticisms. He's too nice. Like patriarch's weakness is, I was hoping you guys would pick it up. He's kind of naive. He trusts people to the point they're starting to take advantage of him, which leads to the situation in Patriarch number 1. I'm absolutely convinced Garth Ennis was killed by a young Catholic priest dressed as Superman. Yeah. What did I say about writers? My thinly disguised fetish. Since Emily is a Kruger, does that mean she can enter dreams? What does that mean? Oh, Freddy Krueger. Freddy.
No.
I love the concept of Freddy Krueger. You know, like not that he was a bad person in his secret origin. I'm not going to elaborate, but I like the idea of beings that can enter dreams.
Yeah.
And that's the sleeper agent that Luke Stone is currently drawing right now. That's about that is a guy, and his weakness is he's constantly taking pills to go to sleep so that he's ruining his health. You know, he looks like a junkie. Yep.
You'll know this one. It just popped in my head right when you're talking about dream powers, and I was like, you know what? Some characters they work out, and I thought of one perfect movie where that dream power worked. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was there was a guy trying to, if I remember correctly, trying to get into the president's dreams to get the access codes, and another dream guy tried to go into the dream at the same time, and they were dream dueling inside the president's dreams, and they were in the elevator, and the enemy guy ends up turning into like a giant cobra and trying to bite the dude. It's an 80s film.
Oh,
it's so
Was it
fucking
Dennis
weird.
Quaid?
It's great. It's Dream something. It's not Dream Quest, but it's Dream something. And they have full-on psychic battles inside dreams where they shapeshift in the whole.
If you can find the name of this movie, let me know.
The kid from the Warriors come out and play. He's the main villain in this
Oh, he's perfect.
So I'll find it that way.
He should have been the Joker.
Oh, he would have been so good.
Yeah.
I can see that.
El Contrador means the accountant. I kind of like that. The accountant who's Tony, we got to talk about a comic book in the future. Death Touch is a scary power. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing about Death Touch. Okay, so you're a good guy. You want to be a good guy, and you accidentally or whatever you get the death touch power. Like I could see you, you don't know it at first, and now you're killing people left and right, and then like, so what do you do? Like, do you live a life of solitude? Is it just your hand? Like if like to me, like Rogue, like if you touch her skin, she could basically kill you. You know, with too long pro contact. Like, and then in the X-Men, she's always wearing a bikini and stuff like that. It's like Rogue should be in a hijab. You know what I mean? Like, so what is this guy with the death touch power? Does he dress like a monk with robes and everything like that, so nobody touches his flesh? Like, is the death touch just limited to his fingertips? These are the kind of things. I was talking to, I don't want to give away anybody's name, but one guy asked if I could talk to his kid. His kid is writing a comic book, so we did like a private 2-hour stream. And this is like, well, what does that guy do? What does he want? And he just came up with cool characters. I'm like, and he came up with some real freaking cool characters. So he was like all excited. He's like, yeah. So we're gonna talk again in a couple of weeks. See what he developed.
I got
Yeah, I've got one for you, John.
Sure.
The director, he can create copies of what he's seen, but he play back as a playback.
Okay.
So if he sees like a strong man lift something up, he can project that into reality. So a strong man comes along to lift something up.
Oh, okay. I the director. This is what I thought of. Same name, but his power is he goes to the supermarket and something happens. There's an altercation, and he just goes cut, and everybody has to relive and do it until it's perfect. You know what I mean? Like he's just like a meddler. Like he's a perfectionist. So like it's almost like a localized Groundhog Day. Like like he goes to the supermarket, they're out of peas, and then this guy drops the grape juice and everything, and he cut, and he goes into the supermarket again, and he's just like obsessive compulsive. He can't go like end scene until everything's done perfectly. I don't know. He's like,
what would his weakness be, John?
His weakness is he's compulsive disorder. He's like worse than Stanley Kubrick. He'll do 90 takes. You know what I mean?
His weakness is he's got a budget to work within.
Well, the budget is real life. You know what I mean? It's like he literally rewrites reality, like he resets reality, but the people are aware and they're getting more and more frustrated. You know what I mean?
Well, I say he can only do it so many times a day. That's his limitation. That's his weakness.
Well, then he'd make it a horrible movie if he doesn't get to think. Like that's the torture of it. Is it must be perfect. You know,
he's characteristic.
Kubrick detective. He's not Ed Wood director.
Yeah. So if he goes over his limit, his powers stop working, and then everyone can get.
And then he must answer to the producer.
And John, the name of that movie is called Dreamscape.
Dreamscape. Okay, I gotta check it out.
I think it's Dennis Quaid's in it. Take a look.
Very young Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, and Christopher Plummer.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
And the girl from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a villain in My Hero Academia who decays everything he touches if his 5 fingers make contact.
That's the main villain, Shigaraki.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Except his powers get strong, so he doesn't need to use all 5 fingers.
Yeah, My Hero Academia gives cool, interesting powers to cool characters. Then the boy's like, "Oh, what if this guy had 40 foot?" Yeah, I know, and it bothers me. I didn't watch 1 second of The Boys, but in the comic, there's the boys. There's Frenchie, the female. Butcher Baker, I forget the black guy's name, and then
Mother's Milk.
Yeah, Mother's Milk is the black guy's name, and he's the one. His weakness is if he doesn't, he literally has to drink from his mother's boob to maintain his power. Like he has refrigerators filled with bottled milk. They do that to the Homelander instead in the TV show.
It made no sense.
So is there a character called Mother's Milk? Did they just get rid of this character?
No, Mother's Milk's in the TV show. He's just perfectly human.
So why is he called Mother's Milk? And then why is the other guy drinking milk then?
I don't know.
Because Mother's Milk was like a word play, and the other one just has tit fetish. There's a fetish for it.
But
It's lame.
so they took one guy's thing and gave it to another guy for no reason whatsoever.
They took it from the black man and gave it to the white dude. Typical Hollywood.
Right. And Homelander's only in like 4 issues of like a 65 issue series. You know.
Well, that's what I thought was so good about the series versus the TV show. When Homelander appeared, it was scary in the comic.
Yeah.
In the TV show, it's just like, okay. Don't get me wrong. What's his name? Anthony Starr, the actor Homelander? Something like that?
Mhm.
Yeah, Anthony
he's
Starr.
fabulous. He's amazing as Homelander. He really is.
I've just come up with another one.
What's
You
that?
gotta let people finish their thoughts before you interrupt.
Sorry.
I'll wrap it up. It's just like I thought he's fantastic in that role. I like a lot of the actors on the TV show. I just hate the writing.
I kind of want to see, because I like Anthony Starr. I watched a show called Banshee, and he was pretty good at. Although Banshee, I stopped watching it. It just, the violence just got to me after a while. But I did like some of the situations. I don't want to spoil it. But Banshee, the first season was worth watching. Welchman, what do you say? You came up with another one?
Yes, Casanova. The ladies really, really like him. He has the ability to make women like him.
Okay, that could be very like this. You could go comedy with this, but
Because his weakness is impotency.
oh, okay. Or his weakness is he doesn't really like girls. He's gay, but he's putting on the airs. But I was gonna like right away. I'm going like for a Sinister, like he's almost like the Purple Man, and he just has like a Charles Manson type female cult that like will literally kill for him. That's a good one.
I was thinking more of an espionage type of person.
Oh, like a James Bond.
He sleeps around with women, but they're tied to important people. And because he can just get them to talk, but he also has to do his thing with them.
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with the chat. Yeah, Cat, that could be. You could do a lot with that name, Casanova. You know, and I'm trying to think. It literally means Newcastle. You know, so I'm trying to think if there's anything you could do with the word itself. But you know, usually like the culture behind the name or the name itself. You know, so like that's to me the most important part of a superhero is the name. You know, and there's 2 ways you could go: literally the meaning of the name, or like the culture of the name, or you know, whatever. Like Batman.
Or another name you could go for would be the Playboy.
The Playboy. Yeah, you could Casanova reverse the Playboy. They could be like foils for each other. Who would be the good guy? I think Casanova would be the good guy. You know, the Playboy would be because now I'm hearing a lot of nasty things about it. Now that Hefner's dead and he can't defend himself, you're hearing a lot of creepy stuff about that guy.
I just kind of, when people die and they're not here to defend themselves, I mean, was the guy creepy? Probably. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire with nothing but beautiful women around him constantly. Right? But there's a lot of people that it seems like they'll swing when it's safe. And it was like, if that guy was that big of a problem and you worked with him all these years and said nothing.
The guy was such a creep. I only lived in his house for 12 years.
Right.
This is my rule. Like whenever somebody runs for president or senator or whatever, comes out with a new movie deal, there's always somebody, and I don't want to say woman, but like, because men will do it, but there's always somebody comes out and then they accuse him of sexual impropriety. And I don't care. Like, it's no big secret I didn't like Biden. There was a woman who came out and said that Biden inappropriate with her. I'm not going to get into the detail. And I said 37 years ago he did it. This guy's been a senator for now. You saying it? Like, I don't care. I don't care if it's my guy or not. Did you go to the police? Did you fill out a police report? Like, Trump is now running for president, and people coming out of the woodwork saying he's been a public guy. He's been a billionaire. He's been doing this for 25 years. Your timing is suspect. So this is my rule, and I'm trying to be consistent with it. Whether or not I like you or not, if you're coming out with these allegations 20 years after the fact, when somebody's just about to attain some, I immediately dismiss. Did you follow through with it? Did you go to the police? Did you file a police? If not, I don't want to hear it. I don't like Obama, but I'm not going to stop listening to all of this nonsense stuff that somebody's going to make up. You know what I mean? Whether it's Trump, whatever. Did you follow through with? If you did follow through with all the paperwork and it got silenced, that's another story. Then I'll listen to you. Write these ideas down, John. I should go. I'll go through these and log them in. I'm trying to. I can see the chat and I can remember these. I got to go back and watch my first one because there was a lot of really good ones. Not that these were bad, but there was just a lot of good ones.
No, it's funny, John. You brought up Purple Man earlier, right? When you were talking about the Casanova character, and I was thinking to myself, I don't think people talk about Jessica Jones on how actually good of a TV show that was compared to the rest of the shit we got from Marvel afterwards.
Those are
movies.
I think there's two cast
Purple Man in that show was terrifying.
Yeah.
And that it was played by literally Doctor Who himself, and he made that character terrifying. And that character was kind of a joke in the comic books. And I was like, wow, you did a good job with this throwaway kind of character. And I thought the show was pretty well done. And I thought it was the better out of Daredevil season 1, of course, then Jessica Jones, and Daredevil season 2, then Luke Cage.
Those Netflix Marvel, I think, was some of the best things that the MCU ever did, and
Yeah.
And now they brought Daredevil back as kind of like a joke in She-Hulk, which I didn't watch.
Well, like did you watch Luke Cage TV show?
No, I didn't watch Luke Cage. I didn't watch.
The first half is great. The villain they had for the first half, the actor Asha Ali, fantastic. In the last 2 episodes, this new guy comes in and he's the big bad, and it just ends up to a giant two episodes of punching. And the first episodes was all about espionage and who's on the take in the police department, who can he trust. So much better than just, there's the drug lord, beat him up.
Yeah, I didn't even
it's
watch
worth it to watch up until that point.
I didn't watch the Iron Fist. Everybody I like that guy. He was perfectly cast, but
yeah.
In his defense, I'll believe him. He says that he signed the contract, and 2 weeks later they were filming. They didn't give him a chance to learn any martial arts and get into shape, But face wise, he was perfect.
Yeah, he does look like a Danny Rand style character.
I do have
like the friendship of Luke Cage and the Defenders.
What did you say, Emily? I couldn't understand.
In the Defenders, I liked when he and Luke Cage became friends.
Oh yeah, that's good that they had them become friends.
Yeah, they did it. I would have loved to have seen a more ground level first time meeting between the two, where they really start to get to know each other. Because it's funny because he's super rich, and Luke Cage isn't. And how they're the comic book version for you youngins who haven't got a chance to experience it yet. Back in the 70s and 80s, Richard Pryor and what's his name from Gene Wilder. They are literally the comedic duo of Danny Rand and Luke Cage. They are that to comedy as they are to superheroes.
I gotta send it to you, but somebody drew a picture of Gene Wilder and Luke Cage as Power Man and Iron Fist.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, just that buddy comedy, that chemistry that they had together.
At the risk of giving away an idea, I have a character that's inspired by Luke Cage. His name is Malcolm Jack Hammer. So given that that's his name, so his first name is Malcolm, his middle name is Jack, and his last name is Hammer. What do you think about this guy? What do you think he does? What's his purview? What's his
construction?
Well, I mean, that's not a super comp.
Because a jackhammer just all goes up and down really, really fast, doesn't it?
Right.
So I think he could do something similar with his arms. So he's being able to repeatedly punch really, really fast.
Okay, that's a good one. Construction worker is a good one. Emily, do you have any idea what he is? I mean, he's obviously a superhero thing. So I mean,
sort of.
I'm a construction worker during his day job, kind of thing.
This one.
The Punisher.
Well, So so the Malus Malefictorum literally means the hammer of witches. So his name is Malcolm Hammer. So he is the hammer of witches. So he's going to be Luke Cage, basically fighting witches in 70s Manhattan.
I
He
like it.
fights the occult with nothing but his two fists. So I think his one power, I think he's going to be stronger because I didn't even make him up yet. I just had the idea. He's not even in I got to write up his sheet. But I think he's going to be stronger than the average guy, but I think his main power is just magic doesn't affect him. So he's the one guy who could fight the witches. And he's got a whole team. I can't wait to do this story. It's gonna be my black exploitation film. And quite frankly, I'm not black, so I shouldn't be able to do this. So I'm gonna be a rebel, Dottie.
Okay, I got another one for you, John.
Sure.
The acrobats. They can bounce off any solid surface.
Is there a whole team of them or just one guy, the acrobat or the acrobats?
Just one.
Okay, so he's the acrobat. I kind of like that. The acrobat. Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
What do you want him to be?
I would picture him to be like a burglar. A burglar acrobat, like he's walking the tightrope in Manhattan, going from one high rise to another, robbing people. And then the cops come, he's jumping around, and then gets beaten up by Daredevil. I want to give away these ideas, but part of me is just I don't know how many issues of my comics that I can actually make, because every issue is dependent upon the last issue. You know what I mean? If Patriarch #1 bombs, that's the end. So, you know what I mean? And I have all these, I literally have 9. I have 12 more scripts, written. Me, Jewish? Or is this one of these guys that are a comics geek guy that goofs on me thinking I'm Jewish?
Don't know, but it's probably thinking about me, actually. Because, us Brits, we like to eat our fish and chips,
Yeah.
I mean, say if you were Jewish, what difference does that make?
I don't know. This is supposed to be good. We don't need this guy. We don't need this guy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. So, anybody else have anything else? We've been talking for 2 hours. I got to go to bed.
There was this episode from the Justice League show I remember where it was an interesting power that this one guy had.
What's that? I didn't understand. It's
Yeah.
muffled.
It was this character from the Justice League show where some of the members went to an alternate dimension, and that this group of alternate heroes, kind of like the Justice Society, but then they learned it was all illusion from this one guy who got powers being mutated because of a nuclear war, and then they learned that was part of his childhood.
Okay, I'm just having to. It's so
Sorry.
muffled. I can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, sorry about this with the mic with the phone.
There you go, way better.
Yeah, I don't know what you just did, but all of a sudden I can hear you. So repeat what you were saying.
It was this Justice League animated show with an episode where some of the members went to an alternate dimension where they met a group kind of like the Justice Society. But then they learned it was all illusion because the nuclear war happened. This one guy, he got these superpowers from the mutation to recreate it all for
Okay.
many years, including the people that were all still alive.
That was
That's
that was the Justice League animated series with Bruce Timm.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that episode. I'm trying to remember. There was a couple of cool characters. They were ultra goodies, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Victorious Sportsmaster and the Miss Icicle Senior.
I like Jessica Jones. I did not like the 30
Yeah, I agree. Jessica Jones season 1, that was it. And
Yeah.
I agree with your character for every appearance of her afterwards. He's completely correct on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting sleepy now. I gotta go to bed. So
No, buddy.
Think about John. the magpie.
Yeah, the magpie. It's a thief that steals. You know, because magpies are attracted to shiny objects. John Byrne did that already. I mean, you know,
Good night, guys.
that was a great.
Yeah.
I'll never the Justice Guild. I couldn't remember the name. The Justice
Yeah.
Guild. All right, so Emily, you want to say anything? We'll go around and say everybody say goodbye if you want. So Emily, anything you want to say?
I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be on here.
Oh yeah, it's good to finally talk to you. You know, you've been in the chat since the beginning. It was nice to finally meet you.
Thank
Creative.
you.
Anything you want to say? Creative Welshman, anything you want to say?
Oh, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Have a good night's sleep.
Yep.
It's morning where I am, so
Hmm.
I'm probably going to go and have breakfast now.
Oh, yeah. Arkham, anything you want to say?
Doing a video on Larry. I was going to just do over the kind of review of this book.
Larry Elmore.
I'm like, he deserves a lot more than just a little review of a book. He deserves like a good intro and a kind of a go over, gloss over. So I'm doing a little video on Larry.
Okay. I'll go have second breakfast. There's no rule that second breakfast has to follow first breakfast. Second breakfast. I'm a rebel hobbit. So, and check out her Heroic Tales 2 from my comic. Let's see. What's tomorrow's Wednesday night? I'll see if RJ wants to do a comic book club tomorrow night, and then Thursday at noon I'm going to do theology with Cooper. We're going to talk about Jesus as an exorcist. Excuse me. Friday night is it's clobbering time. Ant-Man versus the Atom, and then Sunday I'll be doing Sunday comics with X-Men 121, the second appearance of Alpha Flight. And I'm thinking of doing, like, if ever I got nothing, maybe one day a week I'll do a set schedule so people could actually look forward to it and watch. But I want to do the Avengers, so I was thinking like Midnight Comics, and I'll start with Avengers 150 and just do the Avengers just like I'm doing Sunday comics with the X-Men.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and this was kind of fun. I'll do this again periodically. And at that, we'll say goodbye, kids.
Have a good night.
Goodbye, kids.